What's going on, my people? It's your boy, Mr. O.B.F. I'm back one time for your mind, people. I've been out for a little minute, man. My fucking back was acting up real bad. I'm still in a little pain, but I'm good. I'm back. Oh, shit. So I'm back, people. Um, Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, people. Mr. O.B.F. That's the name of this channel. Make sure you guys go and subscribe to O.B.F. the Family uh channel. Make sure you guys, if you can, as possible, make sure you guys donate to the channel and through the Cash App, O.B.F. the Real. We highly appreciate it, people. Um, Let me. Y'all hope y'all can see. Got my talking and grubbing shirt on. Make sure you guys go and subscribe to my brother's channel. Let's see if I did it a little better. Hold on. Make sure you guys go over there and make sure you guys go over there and subscribe. Hold on, there we go. Make sure you guys go over there and subscribe to my brother's channel, talking and grubbing channel. Pick up some merch over there too, people. Donate to his channel just as well as if you can, people. If you can, people, we highly appreciate it. People, let's just go ahead and get into this shit, man. Let's What we gonna start off with? Okay, we're gonna start off with Kellyanne Conway. This lady did a lot of horrible things when she was a part of the Trump administration. She was very rude, disrespectful to others, media, calling them fake news, calling them all types out of their name and things like that, just because she was out there stepping for Trump. And now that she is as now she's doesn't have that position anymore with the Trump administration, because Trump, presidency is over. She comes out with a book. And so now she wants to explain her bad behavior. It tells you something about Kellyanne Conway. Her own husband really don't like her like that. Thought that she was, working for a horrible man. Her daughter didn't respect her. You know what I'm saying? Her kids didn't respect her. That's how you listen. If I can't look my kids in the eye, man, my kids is disappointed in the behaviors that I'm involved with outside of our house or even in our house, then something is wrong. I'm doing something wrong. I'm not doing something right. And so, these people, they so money hungry and so about power, they will sacrifice their own principles with their own family. They'd rather look like, look, they'd rather even let their kids be feeling a certain type of way about them. So, now she want to cry and shit, talk about how people are treating her badly now and all that other goofy shit. Listen, Kellyanne Conway, you work for a horrible person, number one, and you was out there spilling the same hate and rhetoric and disrespect that Donald Trump did to the media, to people on social media, to the people, especially the people that disagree with you siding and you're siding with this dude and your agenda. So, you can't have it both ways. You gotta take that shit like, what I'm saying? If I say shit about people, I'm gonna take what they say about me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna stand on what I say. These people, they can't stand on what they say, so now their feelings are hurt. It's just ridiculous, people. Let's just get into this right here.
Trump, an author of the new book, Here's the Deal. So he's taking orders from the Easter Bunny, he's taking orders from the Taliban, and Pocahontas, she smells blood, Kellyanne. Do you think she's going to do it?
Yes, why not? Joe Biden, the theme of his presidency really is no country for old men. And you've got Elizabeth Warren now not thinking that Joe Biden's first 15 months was socialist enough, so she'll go back in there. As will Bernie Sanders. I was very curious to see there were approval ratings and favorability ratings tested among 8 major public figures. Trump, Pence, the only ones who had 50% unfavorability rating were Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, and Joe Biden. And Elizabeth Warren is seeing the same polls we're seeing, plus this. She's aiming at Joe Biden. She's also aiming at Kamala Harris. She knows Kamala Harris cannot do the job, does not have what it takes. You don't believe me? Believe all 13 senior staffers who have led this exodus from the vice president's office, including her own chief of staff just next week.
Kellyanne Conway, you didn't do nothing either. You was a photo op, just like everybody else. You was there for your own personal agenda. You, first of all, is awfully, listen, I'm not here to defend Kamala Harris. Like, I'm not a fan of hers. I listen, what I say that she's not, listen, how unqualified, if you're gonna call Kamala Harris unqualified, tell me why, right? But give me a second, people. I know goddamn well this. I'm gonna. My bad, people. My daughter out of hand, jumping and shit. It's almost time for her bedtime anyway. She got a new dog and shit. They want to jump around in the house and shit. Anyway, yeah. Explain to me why she's unqualified for the job. Right? That's one thing. Okay. Don't tell me about who's being liked and none of that bullshit. If you can get the job done, I don't give a fuck about liking you. I don't have to like you if you're doing the job. Okay? So that's number one. I mean, it does count if you're a little likable, but that's not the first thing I actually care about, right? It's about policies. What is she doing? Listen, don't tell me about likability. Tell me about they ain't getting the job done. I can live with that. But don't tell me about likable and all that other goofy shit, right? Now, you're telling me because she likable, that's why she's unqualified. That doesn't even make any sense. If they're not doing the job the correct way or they're not doing the job, right? Then you have a point. But if you're telling me just because she's unlikable, that means that she's not qualified for the job, then you're a piece of shit. Then you're just lying. And then second of all, Kellyanne Conway, Kamala Harris has more experience to be vice president than Trump could be a motherfucking a community leader. Just because the man spills hate and he know how to spit that white supremacy bullshit, he's a good actor, a good reality star, I'm sorry. And he registered with racist ass people, that doesn't make him qualified for the fucking job. The man was unqualified. The man was so indignant. He would rather use a Sharpie to sign his name than to use a motherfucking pen, like regular people will. But he had to be somewhat special. Yeah, he is special, and no disrespect to mentally ill people, a special retarded motherfucker. It was nothing qualified about Joe Biden. I mean, Donald Trump. Nothing. Mike Pence would have did a way better job. He was qualified to be president. I can't say that Mike Pence was unqualified. He was very qualified. We all know Donald Trump was not qualified. These people are ridiculous.
Last week, they don't want to be there. So Elizabeth Warren knows if we want the first female president, it can't be Hillary, damaged goods, too much Hillary, not enough Clinton. Third time will not be the charm. And it can't be Kamala Harris, who can't do this job second in command.
I hope Kamala didn't see the Sunday shows, because that, you're right, should make Kamala very
We don't know, because there's very little on her weekend schedule. So I know you watch Elizabeth Warren on the Sunday shows. But seriously speaking, Biden's got a big problem now, because the number one motivator for voters this fall could be fear. And they're very fearful.
And you know the crazy part about it, we so much in this era of motherfuckers got to be entertaining to seem like they're doing something. Like, you get what I'm saying? Instead of doing the work. I don't need to see Joe Biden, Kamala Harris talking all the motherfucking time. Do the motherfucking job. Get the job done. It's more important shit to be worried about. Doing press conferences. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. That shit, leave that shit to your press secretaries and them. I don't need to see Joe. Unless it's a big crisis or something like that going on, then we need to hear from him. Other than that, State of the Union, whatever that bullshit, I didn't even watch that shit, but I'm just saying. That's the only time, or he out there talking to world leaders or something, nigga. Like, I don't need to know nothing about, I don't give a fuck what Joe Biden and them doing. All I know was what they ain't doing. I don't need to see them to talk to me. What are you talking to me about? Nothing that you doing. Nothing. I don't need to hear them. Do the fucking job. That was the problem. Trump want to be all in the video, dancing in the background, all in the videos. And he wasn't doing shit. He lucky he had a decent enough staff around him to pass some agendas. And I believe a lot of the Republicans that was in the Senate and in the House was actually was coming up with these policies. Trump wasn't coming up with none of this shit. His staff, man, they was all about entertaining. Every time you turn around, them motherfuckers just want to entertain, come out, talk bad about the press, fake news, CNN, all that goofy shit. Nobody cares about that shit no more. Only right-wingers care about that goofy shit because they don't have nothing they have no policies to sit on. Trump did nothing for nobody. He just, listen, all he did was raise taxes for the rich, made sure he didn't fuck the economy up. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, he did. He wound up fucking the economy up in the last year of his presidency because he was so unqualified to handle a fucking pandemic. The best goddamn thing Joe Biden has done is handling the pandemic. And if he would have got this shit in the beginning, we would have been better off than we are right now. That's just a fucking fact. Not gonna keep playing these stupid ass games with these dumbass Republicans. Like they were, Trump would have did it. Trump didn't do shit. He just didn't fuck the economy up. He didn't fuck shit up. Had some bad policies, some policies that was questionable to people. That's about it. And he raised taxes for the rich. Nigga, like, what did he do? Oh, he brung jobs back. Nigga, those jobs was coming back. They was coming back anyway because of what Barack Obama did in his administration. So them jobs was already coming, people. He didn't create on fucking new jobs like that. Get the fuck out of here. First of all, you don't even get half of the percentage of the credit when jobs come in from the other president. Unless you fuck the economy up, which Trump did. Just like George Bush did. So he don't get no fucking credit for what Barack Obama did. Neither do Trump. What up, Brother Bell? Shout out to my brother Bell. This is a bunch of bullshit.
Even the New York Times today admitted that people are worried. They're not just angry, they're angst-ridden. 73% say that inflation is worrying them and the choices that they can make. 68% say that Biden's executive
let me that's a lie. Because they don't know nothing. Let me just explain something to you. Y'all know why inflation's going up? You know why they going up? Because everybody's out and about. Everybody's back in society. They lifted bans and, mandates and shit, and people back out working and, doing what we normally do. And so what happened was when people wasn't working, nobody was out and about and shit like that, and we was in the pandemic, we was on, lockdowns, and even after we got out of the lockdowns a little bit, we was coming out of the lockdowns. Oh shit, excuse me. Nobody was working. Nobody was really buying shit. That's why inflation's went up. That's why inflation's high. That's why shit is high right now, people. Listen, people, I went to the gas pump the other day. I filled my tank up. I spent $70. People, I have never spent $70 to fill my tank up. Ever. And I don't have a little car. Like you get what I'm saying? But I have never spent $70 to fill my tank up from having like six miles of gas, almost at E, and then fill that bitch all the way back up. Have never spent $70 to fill my tank up. The most I had probably spent filling my tank up was probably about $50, maybe. But usually I only got to spend about $30 to $40 to fill my tank up. Okay? Now, people, you know why people are bitching and complaining about inflations and shit like that? Number one is because of the simple fact of these dumbass Republicans trying to make it all about Joe Biden. It's a political game. When it's really it's the corporations that we don't regulate like we supposed to, that's taking advantage of the people by hiking prices to get more money out of us. Okay? That's part of it. Okay? Now, the other part is because of the simple fact shit is so high, is because it's a lot of people that really truly do not know why shit is high. They really truly, a lot of people in America don't know shit. And I'm talking about voters, regular folks. Motherfuckers don't know what inflation is. You just know, people say high prices. Nobody know what inflation is. Nobody really fucking know what that is. Shit is just high. But they don't understand the reason why it's high. They don't have a fucking clue. So people like, oh, I'm spending all this money on this is high, and this is high, and that is high. And can now you sit your butt down? But anyway, what happens is that a lot of times these corporations are taking advantage of the people by hiking the prices up. It's nothing that Joe Biden can do for that, but give them. Trump didn't raise taxes for him. I mean, lowered taxes for him. Sorry. He lowered taxes for him. So I don't know what they bitching and complaining about. They ain't really paying taxes. Some corporations ain't paying taxes. So I'm trying to figure out, how do they lose money? And these people with these a lot of these corporations, a lot of them, about 90% of them, was getting millions and billions of dollars. When the pandemic hit and we was on lockdown, they was killing. And you got to understand, people, we create the most oil in the world. We drill more than anybody in the world. So it's fucking impossible for gas to be as high as it is. We ain't necessarily in a war. That's Russia and Ukraine shit. They got nothing to do with that. Then you're talking about the oil that we get from Russia. Them bitches, we don't want no more. I mean, listen, we should have been sanctions. We don't even want y'all oil no more. You want to go and invade countries and shit? They goddamn right we supposed to do that. But these bitches want to go to, and think about this. Some Democrats and a lot of Republicans want to go to war with Russia to start a whole new war. And you talking about inflations? Nigga. Okay. Reason a lot of times shit go up is because we at war. They gotta find some fucking money, find some money where to pay for this goddamn war. So who they get it from? Us. Think about that. Anytime we gotta go to war, where do you think that the money is coming from? Us. And they hike our prices up to get extra money from us. Come on, we gotta be smart out here. People, educate yourselves. Understand what the fuck is going on. Stop bitching and complaining about prices, and you are allowing the people that are allowing the corporations, to hike your prices. Because you know why? Because they take money from the corporations. and the corporations do what the fuck they want to do. So they don't put regulations on these people like this. Not stronger ones and harder ones. They ship jobs over. They have nothing to fucking do with the president. Nothing. Them fuckers, they just send jobs. You know why? Listen, it's because we won't put real sanctions on these motherfuckers and let them know, hey man, regulation. I'm not sanctions, regulations. Hey man, you don't take a motherfucking job from America. If you're gonna open up another country, another corporation or building or whatever, you build that bitch over there, but you don't take jobs from here. But our government doesn't put in those type of regulations. People bitch and complain, I lost my job. They took it overseas. Who's to blame for that? It ain't just the president's fault. It is Congress' fault. And mainly Republicans. God damn, this shit ain't complicated. It's not complicated. Stop bitching and complaining about something that's not complicated. It's not our fault that you don't know. You keep voting these dumbass people in that ain't gonna fix shit. That's not gonna stop your job from being taken. Then they lie to you and tell you, oh, the immigrants come over and take these jobs. It's a bullshit lie. We know criminals can come home and get fast food restaurant jobs, but they don't pay shit.
On the border have made the immigration crisis worse. Jesse, do you realize that more people say immigration is a top issue right now than when Donald Trump was president? You've got Maggie Hassan, Democrat.
Immigration is not a top issue. It's the narrative that Republicans put out here and stupid people believe it. Let me just explain something to you. Once again, my people, is no immigrant from any country that comes over here stop me from working at a job. They are not taking anything away from me. My government, your government, is taking away from us and giving it to the corporations, the rich. That is what happened. That is what is happening. That has been what has been happening. And they are all these people, Kellyanne, Conway, and these dumbass people, these politicians are lying about immigrants. They do not affect your life. It is your own government. It has nothing to do with immigration. And listen, I can't speak on Texas and all where people at the borders and shit like that. I can't speak on that. I don't live in that part of the country, so I can't speak on that. But usually on that part of the country and shit, they use those immigrants for workers and pays them bullshit. And we know that happens too. So kiss my ass about the immigrants is a problem. Immigration is bullshit. People, if you shut the border down, you don't let no more immigrants come in the country. Don't just say that, right? Well, what's the second problem? If immigration is number one, what is the second one? Because you know the immigrant shit of they saying that's a problem. It's all a deflection from the real issue. So what the next issue is what? This is what I want to hear from regular Republican folks. Well, what is your next issue? Nothing you talk about critical race theory and Disney and gay people. Oh, everybody else is the problem but you. But you are the problem. You are the person that keep voting for these people to put us in the problems. You take no responsibility. It's the immigrant fault. It's the black people fault, the gay people, Disney, and all this other shit. Twitter. Nobody gives a fuck but you. Culture wars. It ain't about no goddamn policies. You don't even stand for anything. These are the same dumbass people that vote for Republican people that don't even believe in unions. But they bitch and complain about the corporations taking advantage of them, working them hard, not paying them. But you vote for people that don't even believe in the union. You need a union. These people are crazy, man. These people are nuts and honeys. They had lost their entire fucking mind. They have lost their goddamn mind. They want to fight culture wars all day and then get mad about inflation. Now, listen, I know I can do more than two things at once. But like I said, if you spend majority of your time fighting about culture wars, I can't take you serious on policy. I can't take you seriously on policies. I can't take you serious. Policies is number one. I don't give a fuck about what gay people do. They don't affect my life. I don't like a lot of shit that gay people do. Oh well. I don't got time to be sitting there and let's change some policies so the gay people won't have no rights to do nothing. Nobody gives a fuck. It's been way too much time worrying about culture wars. I can't take these people seriously on policies.
Senator at the border last week in like her belted khakis in front of Trump's wall, taking selfies. Why? Because she won 6 years ago by about 0.14% of the vote, 1,600 votes. She knows she's got to go to the middle, call him out on Title 42. I think it's fascinating that the Obama and Clinton people are quoted by name in all these articles saying what a dismal year it's going to be for the Democrats. Why? Because usually they're blind quotes or they say, no, we can, let's just buck each other up. We can't let them win. I think the Democrats are out there
because they're not doing anything. Biden is not doing anything. Joe Manchin and Sinema is running the party. They the president and vice president. And that's just a fact. People can sit here, Klamahouse can get mad all she wants for what Charlamagne said. It's a fact. They are not running the country when it comes to getting policies passed, shit that people need and help. They're not doing nothing. They are stopping everything. They are siding with Republicans and corporations, nigga. So listen to the Kellyanne Conway. We all know Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is nothing but a photo op. They ain't nothing but just, they the ones that people pretend that's running shit. They ain't running shit. They ain't doing a goddamn thing. Listen, let me explain something to you. Do y'all remember that when President Obama, when he was he didn't do shit, right? People was like, yo, he should have did way more. That was because of Joe Biden in his ear talking to him. And now that y'all see Joe Biden in there, he ain't doing shit because he told Obama not to do shit. Biden helped the Republicans just like he's helping them now. Biden just dead just to look like a president. That's all. We got somebody that got common sense. But when it comes to policy, the man does not give a fuck about the people just like the Republicans don't. It's no different. It's no different. He's doing the typical politician bullshit. saying all the good shit, but ain't doing nothing. People that's actually running shit right now, actually running the party, actually is, to me, the president and the vice president, to me, and I don't give a fuck who don't like it, is Joe Manchin and Sinema. Horrible people. So I don't give a fuck about people mad at Joe Biden on the right. I don't give a fuck. We all know. And it is Joe Biden's fault. Ain't nothing socialist getting passed. They keep talking about all these socialist policies. Nothing is getting passed. What are you talking about? All the shit that got passed from the Senate and all that other shit, that was Republican shit. Just like when Barack Obama was in there, that was Republican shit. It's a damn shame I have to explain this because people should know more. People should educate themselves more. They should know what the fuck is going on in our government, in our country. But they don't care. They want to focus on culture wars and stupid, goofy shit. Worrying about Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith smacking Chris Rock. Yeah, all right. Nobody give a fuck about that shit. Well, first of all, people care way too much about that shit.
2 5-letter words, Trump and COVID, really don't know what to do. And
You're right.
who really is the Biden constituency? He won because he wasn't Trump. Who is his constituency? It's a Pyrrhic victory. And I don't know who he has around him to tell him that this is not going well. I mean, at this point,
The Easter Bunny.
Did that.
That's the only person
and
that can
no
tell him
word
what
from
to
Santa
do.
Claus, which comes after the election. So I think by the time December rolls around, he's got a big problem. Biden promises to go out in the stump and review all of the accomplishments he's had, which will look like this.
Right. That's a short
It's
speech.
just really, and their bench is very thin. Even Governor Whitmer now has taken Biden off of her documents about the federal infrastructure plan they're working on together. So you've got a lot of governors, Polis, Whitmer, Evers, Laura Kelly, all backing away from him. Most of them up for re-election this year.
That's smart politics. All right, Kellyanne Conway got the new book out.
It's not smart politics. It's dumb shit. And Joe Biden, listen, the Democrats haven't done nothing. They haven't done shit. And that's the problem. I guarantee you, if they would have passed that Build Back Better bill, Biden would have been way off. But like I said, Joe Manchin and Sinema fucked that up. But it's really on Biden because he the president. He should have put his foot on their neck. Hey man, the fuck are you doing? You trying to what are you trying to do? You trying to make us lose the House and the Senate? When we got this shit and we can put our agenda and pass some shit, you trying to fuck my presidency up? What's wrong with you? See, the problem is with Joe Biden and them, you want to play this bipartisan bullshit. Oh, he's a friend of mine. No, you ain't a friend of mine when we talking about helping the American people. If you're going to go against that, we put that friend shit to the side. I got a motherfucking job to do. I got an agenda that I need to be passed because the voters voted for this shit. They voted for this shit because they voted for me to pass these type of policies. So you're going to help me pass these policies, or I'm gonna run over your ass. We ain't got time to be playing around with your fucked up agenda. And I'm gonna tell everybody, and see, they can't call each other out. See, that's part of the problem. He can't call Joe Manchin out. Because you know why? Because he took big money from the corporations. That's why if you had somebody like Bernie in that bitch and had more people in the Congress like that, like Bernie, they're not loyal and taking money from them corporations. So they get to go and buck the system. But Biden, he can't do that. And that's why he didn't call out Joe Manchin. That's why he didn't call out Sinema like he's supposed to and got in their ass. He couldn't do it. Because he's taking the same money that they taking. That's why I said we just, like, only thing we got Biden being in office is that he's more competent than Donald Trump. He's not going to embarrass us on a national stage. If you notice, nobody actually what is it? How about you go upstairs? It's time for bed. Turn the TV off and go upstairs and get in the bed. She do too much. Nigga done got her a dog and she still daddy. Come on now. Told y'all, this is the only time I got to myself, man. Any other fucking time I'm around helping somebody or doing something for somebody. You know what I mean? Need a little space to get away. You know what I mean? This shit is third kind of therapy for me to do this shit, man. I mean, I mean what I say. I stand on the shit I talk about when I do this shit, but this is therapy for me, man. Soon I get off and go, I leave this studio, nigga. It's all about everybody else's shit. Anyway, don't get me wrong, I don't mind it, but you know, sometimes you need a little space for yourself. Anyway, but yeah, we, you know, the problem is that people really truly don't know how corrupt these politicians are, and it's sad that people that fell for the scam of what Trump has done, tagging like he for the people and shit like that, off of culture wars. And Republicans, that's all they doing now. Like, they're not really for the people. They're, you know, they're just giving them crumbs and shit. So see how we getting rid of critical race theory? Nobody's teaching that shit. See how we got the don't say gay bill? Like, nobody's in school. These teachers ain't in school talking to these kids about gay shit, gay issues. It's not happening like that. It's not even. It doesn't even exist. They're just giving them bullshit, and it's just crazy. It's basically lies. Anyway, people, let's take a quick commercial break. We're gonna come back with the next segment, and we're gonna get into. We got a Coon alert coming up, people, but we'll be right back. All right, people, we back from a quick commercial break. Let's get into it, man. Y'all know what time it is, man. It's the goddamn Coon alert. Got another buck dancing bonanza out here cooning. And it's a damn shame that we have people that look like us, my people, that's out here selling their soul for power in the bag. It's a damn shame. If I'm their family members, I'm ashamed of them. I'm ashamed of them. But, you know, let's get into it, people. It's your boy, Tim Coon Scott, the butter biscuit eating. Excuse me. I'm going to say something that I probably shouldn't say, but I'm going to say it anyway. And I don't want my black people to take this wrong. Because I know in our community, we deal with a lot of colorism, right? We have an issue with colorism. And hopefully we understand and get past this colorism bullshit amongst our people. Excuse me. And do better, right? For me, just me, my opinion, when I see a dark-skinned black man or woman get up here and buck dance like it is no tomorrow, it hurts a little more than somebody maybe my complexion a little lighter. I'm not gonna lie to y'all people, because all I can think is our ancestors, our dark-skinned ancestors from Africa that was on that slave ship that got bamboozled. To see this dark-skinned bonanza buck dancing coon sell us out the way he's doing, it hurts a little more. I ain't even gonna lie, people. So I might be using a little bit of colorism, but I don't give a fuck who it is. You know, what shade color you are, if you black, it's still fucked up. But it just hurt a little more for me when I see, you know, dark-skinned black people just sell us out the way they doing buck dancing shit. It hurts a little more. And maybe it's just me. People, leave your comments in the comment section and let me know if this affects y'all. Like, do y'all see it the way I see it, or it just don't? I mean, it doesn't matter to me, but it just do it hurt a little more for somebody to be a part of the black community that shades darker. Our darker brothers and sisters selling us out. Do it hurt a little bit more than somebody in my skin complexion and up, right? But it's all fucked up. But I'm just saying, it just hurt a little more when I see this from dark-skinned black folks. I don't know why, but it feels different. You get what I'm saying? And it's probably mainly because my grandmother's dark-skinned on my dad's side of the family. A lot of my darker skinned family members are on my dad's side of the family. On my mom's side of the family, everybody's kind of like my skin complexion and lighter. You know what I mean? We have a couple of dark-skinned black family members and shit like that, right? But a lot of them are like my skin complexion and lighter. Like, I got a lot of cousins that's light as shit, right? A lot of them, right? A lot of them, and some of my skin complexion and shit like that. But a lot of them are like fair-skinned. You know what I'm saying? Or they my skin complexion. But it's probably like maybe about shit. It's probably a couple, maybe about I give us about 20, 25 to maybe 30 dark-skinned black people on my mom's side of the family that I do know. And it might be lesser than that, but everybody else is kind of like fair-skinned. God rest my aunt Willette. So she passed away last year from COVID. She was dark-skinned. So she's one of them. So like, it's like, I don't know, man. It just I feel a certain type of way, man. And it just could be me. Could be me nitpicking, or one of my pet peeves and shit like that. But let me know what y'all think. Let's get into this buck dancing bonanza. I see his face, he irked me. You know how some of these coons, when you see their face, they irk you because you know they get ready to be on some coon shit.
Parents have a right to know what their kids are being taught in the classroom. Teaching kids that some are oppressors is just as bad as teaching other kids that they're always going to be victims.
People, let me just explain something to y'all. I have never heard that. Never. Not in elementary school, middle school, high school. Never heard that. You know what I did stories on this. You know what I have seen is they had black kids auction them off as slaves to white kids. I heard more about those type of stories than I heard about teachers teaching white kids that like they should feel bad about their skin complexion. I mean, it's feel bad about their race, that they are oppressors. I have never heard that, never seen that. I'm sorry. That is a bull-faced fucking lie. That is not happening in schools. The opposite happens. Where you have white teachers are sitting there reenacting slavery and using black kids as slaves and let them auction off, white kids auction off black children. Have black kids picking cotton. Fact. I can't make this shit up. I done seen plenty of stories. The problem is I've seen this shit. White people haven't seen this, or some of them haven't. Or if they did see it, they ignored it because they most likely are fucking racist and they ain't stand up and say nothing. Tim Scott is a goddamn liar. He's a goddamn liar. That they in there making kids feel guilty and having them thinking that they are oppressors. And other kids feeling like they are being oppressed. First of all, I know this is a lie. Black kids don't have to go to school to get taught that. Y'all don't hear me? Black kids don't have to go to school to feel like they being oppressed. Motherfucker, when they leave their house and deal with the police, they feel oppressed by these white race soldiers. The fuck out of here, man. Looking at all the poor and shit going on, all the poor shit going on around and they ain't got nothing. Nigga, they listen, man. The fuck out of here. Ain't no teacher teaching these kids that shit. I told y'all, the worst thing you could give a black person is education and knowledge and awareness. Because education, educating yourself and shit like that, being educated, you can look out for shit. You could know what the fuck is going on. They don't want black kids to know what's going on out here in these worlds. That's why they bringing up this critical race theory bullshit. And the whole time they talking about all this shit. You got these white kids going to school being even more racist because they got a reason now to be as racist as they were. Their parents are telling them that. The school is allowing it. But you want to tell us everything was honky? We tell the kids everything was honky-dory, everything was good back in the day. You know, nothing was going on. You know, we just was living. You know how disrespected I feel when I hear these people talk about critical race theory like it's being taught. Listen, people, I done heard white people come out of their mouth, right, and say, hey, that just was the time back then it was legal to enslave black people. Like it was no big deal. That just was the norm. Okay, it was the norm, but was it right? What the fuck are you trying to say? So we supposed to give those people that was slave owners passes because it was the right. They came up with the law. It wasn't like black people had to say, like, no, we don't want to be slaves. Listen to me, people. I always keep saying this. I couldn't have been a slave. They'd have killed me the first day. First day when I found out they bamboozled me on that to get me on that slave ship, I'd have been dead the first day. Well, I'd have jumped the fuck up off there. Listen, people, I'd have did something. Well, we all know that they got chained. They was already chained, and like we got bamboozled before we even got to the ship. By our own African people. That's just a fact. So all the African people, listen, don't get upset at me. A fact is a fact. You help these motherfuckers that enslave black people here, and that's why it like what our ancestors did. That's why it's like, how the fuck do y'all come over here now and talk about how bad black people are, or we ungrateful, or we lazy? What? That's like to tell my daughter she lazy, because she don't have to go through the same struggles that I've been through. That's my whole reason of having her, of taking care of her, my whole reason of busting my ass working hard. So she don't have to work as hard and go through as much shit I had to go through. That's the whole purpose. White kids can do that. White parents can do that for their kids. But when black people do, the kids are lazy. Man, kiss my ass. Oh, they spoiled. Man, fuck you. What are we teaching our fucking children? Black people? Oh, the white people can do it, but we can't do that for our children. Yeah, all right. My daughter is not annoying spoiled. She ain't at an age where she's doing horrible shit because she's spoiled or getting in trouble. But if that time come, and then I regulate that shit, I bring it on back. I bring the shit on back home. Then now it's my issue. What's up? What the fuck are you doing out here? I'm giving you everything you want, and you out here acting a goddamn fool. Hey, be responsible. Be a decent goddamn human being. You ain't got to do what all these motherfuckers are doing. Oh, nigga, if it come to that, oh yeah, I get busy. But right now, nigga, I give my daughter whatever the fuck she need. That's all that matters. I don't give a fuck she's spoiled. I don't care. I probably would have been better off if I was a little spoiled. At least just a little. Not playing these stupid ass games with stupid people. Like I said, to get down, to boil down to it, he's a goddamn lie. That is not being taught in schools. And like I said, all of a sudden, the parents, a lot of these motherfucking white supremacist parents, all of a sudden care about what their kids are being taught in school. Man, motherfuckers get them kids up, take their ass to school. Send them to school, take them to school, whatever. Motherfuckers don't be caring fuck about what these kids getting taught in school. These kids in here fucking teachers. I don't hear about y'all trying to come up with new policies about that. Harsher motherfucking penalties for these teachers fucking these children. And that's happening every day. Oh, there's more horrible shit going on than so-called critical race theory being taught by teachers. Teachers fucking these kids. But I don't see the uproar about that. Kiss my ass. Tell me about no goddamn critical race theory, what these teachers doing. These teachers fucking these kids. I ain't saying all of them. I'm just saying, it's a big percentage of them. They fucking them.
For real? That was South Carolina Senator Tim Scott speaking at the Reagan Library this week as states across the country ban textbooks and prohibit the teaching of certain topics in schools. Like what's going on in Florida, where on Friday, examples were finally released to explain why 54 math textbooks were banned for including, quote, prohibited topics. All that concern espoused by Senator Tim Scott and other Republicans about classroom instruction ignores a big fact. Schools are filled with more than just straight, white, cisgender folks who are being robbed of their education. Joining me now, MSNBC contributor and senior opinion writer and columnist at the Boston Globe, Kimberly Atkins-Storr. She is also a co-host of the hashtag Sisters-in-Law podcast. We also have MSNBC legal analyst Maya Wiley and contributing editor for The Griot, Sophia Nelson. She's also the author of Black Woman Redefined, and together they comprise Black.
And first of all, and you got to understand something here. These are uppity Negroes that you get ready to hear. I just need y'all to know that. And I ain't mad because they made it. They got them some dollars. They always think I'm mad about people getting their bag. I'm not mad about it. I'm just asking how you made that bag. That's what I question. I don't give a fuck about your bag. All I care about is how did you get that bag? What did you sacrifice to get that bag? These uppity black niggas. I just want y'all to know that. I'm sorry. Uppity black people. See, a lot of these people been making me, somehow black people been making me angry. I've been using the N-word a lot more than I usually do. But they starting to piss me off. These are uppity ass black people that's getting on my goddamn nerves. Not saying they bad people. I'm just saying, like, come on, man. They still be in these same circles with the people that they're talking about. And that's what's bothering me. Where's your goddamn your standards and your morals? Let's move on.
Black Lady Courtroom. Welcome back to the Sunday show. All right, Kimberly, I'm going to go down the row here. Your reaction to Tim Scott's rant on critical race, quote unquote, critical race theory, teaching white kids that they are oppressors.
Yeah, I would love to see the curriculum that actually exists teaching children that they are oppressors.
It's not being taught. I mean, they don't have any curriculum like that. That is not happening. And the bad part about it, I haven't heard a white kid come out and say that yet. All I hear is from these white parents. How the fuck they know? They ain't even in the schools. One time they come there for parent-teacher conference or some bullshit. Listen, it doesn't exist. The curriculum doesn't exist. Listen, you can't talk about history without talking about systemic racism. That's a part of the critical race theory, right? So you can't talk about slavery without that. You can't talk about George Washington and none of these so-called founding fathers without talking about slavery or systemic racism. It's impossible. This shit goes hand in hand. I don't understand why they are trying to create this narrative of like, you don't, this is tough. Just come out and just say you don't want to talk about slavery. That's it. You can't teach history without slavery in this country. I don't give a fuck about other countries. I'm not saying it in a disrespectful way because I do actually genuinely care, but I don't really care about that. Let's focus on what the issue is in America. Listen, you cannot talk about the forefathers without slavery, systemic racism, period. Can't talk about Jim Crow, the Civil War, none of that shit without slavery. Racism. You can't talk about it without it. So is that what you're telling us? Just be honest. Listen, I hear that. But I want those motherfuckers to tell me that. Just say it. Don't stand on your shit. Don't keep telling me about critical race theory is being taught in school. You ain't even telling the whole motherfucking thing about American history, about slavery, about anything that goes on. You don't even, it's not even accurate in schools. They ain't even telling the whole truth. They ain't even teaching the kids every goddamn thing. And I'm a history buff. I love history. I've been loving history since I've been going to elementary school. I love history documentaries. I love that shit. Because I'm a history guy. I love to know about shit. I wasn't there. I like to put myself in situations if I was there. That's why my humanity and empathy is the way it is. That's why my principles the way they are, because I know about some of the history. You can't keep trying to hide this shit from children. We have to talk about the real shit in this country so we won't keep making these same fucked up mistakes. That goes on black people's side. That goes on white people's side. Black people need to know about the history just as much, the real history about America, just as much as the white kids do. What are we doing here? But just be honest and tell us you don't want to talk about slavery anymore. You don't want to talk about Martin Luther King, Jim Crow. You can't talk about them dudes. You can't talk about none of those dudes and don't talk about racism or slavery. Rosa Parks, you can't talk about those people without that. That's just a fact. But just tell us that's what you're saying. If that's the case, then we'll go from there. That'll let me know we need to split the country. And honestly, and that's my honest opinion, I believe that needs to happen. If these people ever come up, we don't want to talk about that shit no more. We want to think our forefathers was the greatest people. Okay, fine. Then I think that we need to have a discussion of it's time for us to split the country. Because I don't want to be a part amongst these stupid ass people. These ignorant bigots and racists. And any coons or immigrants or minority people that want to ride with them or black folks want to ride, you can go right ahead and ride with them bitches. But we don't need you on our side. That's not being a real true American. We need to be able to talk about bad issues. We need to can call out our government for not doing what they supposed to do, living up to the so-called American standards, which is the standards is bullshit. It's very confusing. It's very hypocritical. But if I say that, I ain't a patriot. Well, I guess I'm not.
Any schoolroom. This is what's sad about this. A friend of mine who was born in Germany and came to the United States to go to college is now a citizen. Told me once years ago how surprised he was how in college the treatment of American history really kind of glossed over for the most part and ignored some of the atrocities, including the enslavement of Black people, in a way that didn't happen.
That's why for me, when it comes to people that was part of the Holocaust and shit like that, they should know more about what America was at that time. Americans was coming to help other Europeans out. Use black people. Black people was a part of that as well, and other minorities, right? That was from America, right? That were where at the time we had no rights. Black people still getting hung and mistreated, but we still serve for the country, and nobody talks about that. So how was America this big? Like, why are we glorifying America going to help Germany when they was hypocrites? Nobody wants to talk about that. How America was still being racist and took rights, still had rights taken away from black people. They were still hanging black people. What are we talking about here? The same shit that was going on over in Germany at that time was happening here. But somehow people just gloss over that like, oh, America, we was over there too. We helped. Nigga, please stop. Them same veterans, them same people that you look at as heroes, they was the same racist. They was some of them, a lot of them was just as racist as fucking Hitler. What the fuck you think Hitler got it from? Please. But nobody wants to talk about that. We want to talk about all the good shit that white people did. But you notice the double standards in America. We talk all about all the good shit that the founding fathers did and all the good shit that white people do. But anytime you talk about black people, they was radical, or, how we was bad people. And then if they want to really insult us, you niggas was slaves. Like, it's all about us. We was the bad people. We still the bad people. But we didn't enslave anybody. We didn't create ghettos. We didn't get put in these positions because we wanted to. A lot of times we ain't had no fucking choice. Just like if you see a lot of these little young niggas out here in the streets gangbanging and shooting and shit, they ain't got no choice. Where the fuck they gonna go? You grow up in that. Where the fuck you gonna go? You don't know nothing. You don't know about nothing. Your circumstances, when you finally can comprehend what your circumstances is, where you are, you've been in it for years. So you most likely adapt to it or get rolled the fuck over. They only our opportunities when we finally comprehend shit. Our parents been fucked over, and that shit generations broke down to us. They grew up in the same shit that we grew up in. Think about how our parents, we keep saying, oh, they made it out, or some of them made it. Listen, think about generations of this shit. Your parents grew up in the crack era, right? You come from the crack era. You was born in the crack era. Most likely you was a drug baby. Okay? Nigga, when you finally comprehend where you are and where you at, and in the reality, your parents are still there where they got caught up at, and you're right there with them. It's not like your parents went out, did better, and we're not a part of that reality. No. They're still there. Your parents has never made it from there. They adapted, your parents most likely adapted to the situation, the reality. And now it's your turn to. So what happens with you? You get 15, 16 years old, you have a baby. And now if you don't make it out of there, right? Now your kids, when they finally start to realize what's going on and reality hits them, they comprehend things, they're starting off the same way you did. It's a generational thing. We didn't create that. And a lot of you white people can get mad at me all you want. I don't give a damn. Y'all did that to us. Your ancestors, if you didn't directly do it, your ancestors did. This is a generational thing. That's why we need to have these conversations with white kids and black kids about the history of America. This is generational shit. You don't get to just ignore it because shit got a little better. Because if shit got so much better like everybody think, why is some of these white kids is just as racist as the Klan? Saying racist and racist homophobic shit that they're saying. Why? If we came a long way. I'm seeing the stories every day about children doing racist shit, saying racist shit. This is generational shit.
When he was growing up in Germany, they were very frank and clear about exactly what happened, for example, leading up to World War II. And one reason was to ensure that it wouldn't happen again. So what's really sad about Senator Scott's comments is that we have an opportunity here to say, look, let's teach our children, let's teach future generations what not to allow to happen again, and let's empower these kids.
I told y'all this a while ago. Let me know if the sound is good, people, too. I meant to ask y'all that. Let me know if the sound is good. Listen. I told y'all this is what Trump was going to do if he got in office. I told y'all this. I told y'all this years ago. And look where we at in the country. He was going to set us back. You got these white people want to go backwards instead of forwards. They don't want to go forward. They want to go backwards. With their thought process, the ideology, the racism, the bigotry. I told y'all this was going to happen. And now what you have, if you have black people in this country and you have white people amped up. Amped the fuck up. Because I am, when it comes to this racism, I don't play with that shit. I don't play with systemic race. I don't play with none of that shit. So for people to be playing with this shit to get a bag and drift and get power, you like the scum of the earth to me. And I don't give a fuck if you black or white or minority. I don't give a fuck with. Don't play with this shit. History can repeat itself if you do not do anything about it. And you're seeing it happen. These motherfuckers trying to fight Disney, nigga, because Disney say, hey, you know what? We don't agree with that damn bill. Fuck that shit, man. We without gay people in the gay community. Because you know why? Because we got gay people working for us. We got gay employees. We got a gay community that comes to spend their hard-earned money at our facilities. But somehow, some way, listen, I told y'all. Listen, as black people, we should be always unified. We should be. But when it comes to other races and other minorities and shit like that, we should be unified. This is no shit that you play with, because when you fuck with one, you're going to start fucking with everybody. That's usually what's happening. Now you look at it, if you got liberal white people, they're pedophiles now. If you're a Democrat, you're a pedophile. Because you will not discriminate against gay people. That's basically what they're telling motherfuckers now. It was a white man, Joe Scarborough, had a nerve to get on TV and say, oh, black people is more conservative. Let me explain something to you. A lot of black people are conservative, right? Even if you're a Democrat, we're a little conservative, we blend. But the one thing that we don't play with is discrimination. I'm going to fuck how conservative we are. But we don't play with discrimination. And see, that's what Joe Scarborough failed to tell people. He was talking, I think he probably could have been talking about culture wars, but like, no, listen. It's slave mentality to think to give Republicans or Democrats power over black votes. It's a slave mentality. We should be our own entity, just like the Chinese is in this country, just like the Jewish people. I'm sorry, the European Jews. That's what I'm gonna start calling you, motherfuckers. The European Jews. Even some Mexican, they got their own coalition, nigga. We supposed to have that. The problem is with black people, we act like, because we got the history of being like shitted on in this country. We don't have the history that where like the Chinese and all them, they come over, they got a little discriminated against, but they got the power. They got some little power. We didn't. We still here and we ain't got no power. They still killing and shooting us, murdering us, throwing us in jail, having our kids being uneducated. We ain't doing shit about it. You got a lot of our black folks in this country still want to be a part of the American dream. What American dream? I don't want to be the American dream. What, racism? White people being racist and having power? No, I don't want that. That ain't the American dream to me. I'm starting to feel a way about when black people say that shit now. Anybody can reach their high to get the American dream. Listen, that is not true. Black people have 10 times harder to get to this so-called American dream than any race. Let's be real about it. Stop sitting out here pretending that it ain't 10 times still to this day harder for us to get where we want to get. You don't hear you do not hear black people getting in positions, stopping white people from getting positions because we own a business. You don't hear about that. Stop acting like somehow it's the same. It's not. Even if black people wanted to be clever in that way to stop white people from getting certain positions because of the color of their skin, we're not built like that. Because we know how it feels to be discriminated against. Somehow black people think that we should do that shit. But I highly doubt that. If we got a black-owned business, you goddamn right we should hire more our people, because more our people are not getting hired in their businesses. And if they are, they're getting mistreated.
Where when they grow up, they can be a part of the solution. They can help fight against the racism and bigotry that they see, as opposed to coddling them and giving some false impression that they're being harmed in some way. But he won't do that because Republicans love a culture war.
Look, talk about every time you see Tim Scott, he got some white men sitting behind him. Like a little puppet. They got him like a puppet. You know, and I'm gonna tell you something about a very, very educated coon, like somebody like Tim Scott. They love that this Negro talk just as proper as they do, and speak the same language, baby. They love that shit. That's why he's so welcoming, so popular. He talks very eloquent. But he says the shit that we want him to say. Barack Obama spoke just like this. But the difference between him and Barack was that Barack spoke very proper, right? Very eloquent, right? But he had these pauses. And you know why he had pauses? Because he didn't want to offend his people to a certain extent. He didn't want to offend other people. That's why you pause. When you hear Tim Scott talk, the shit is like scripted. Like even when you hear like the Coons, the Candace Owens of the world, that shit seems scripted. Like they've been programmed to talk this way. When you hear Barack a lot of the times, and I'm not the biggest fan of Barack, but when you hear Barack, he got to pause. He pauses a lot. It's almost like a stutter because he understands, nigga, I ain't just doing this for black people. I'm doing this for other people. And I care about other people. That's how you know, that's the difference. And I told you just got to watch how people talk a lot of times, what they say out their mouth. Tim Scott, he sound like a fucking robot. Him, Candace Owens, all them motherfuckers, they sound like robots. They talk like, and black people, and that's how that go. It's no pause. Because you know why? Because they have a white supremacist agenda. They are programmed Negroes, house niggas. They've been programmed. They've been taught. Nigga, this is what you say, and you better go out here and speak that language we speak. And sound as eloquent and then as intelligent that we sound. But you get a pass because of the color of your skin to say the racist shit that we want to say and kind of say, but we don't go as far as you said. So that's why you here, nigga. But these Negroes know that or they don't know that. But either way you look at it, it's still fucked up.
And if they tell the truth about history, it makes it harder to wage culture wars.
Mm-hmm. And culture wars are strictly emotional wars at that. Maya Wiley, your thoughts on Senator Scott?
Well, so first, I just want to say, for me, these aren't culture wars. These are wars over power. And it's really about whether it's a plural democracy, we're all going to have power in it. If you control history, if you control knowledge, if you control information, then you are controlling who has power and who doesn't. And when we go back to the history...
And that's true. And that is true. That is true. It's not really culture wars. It's really, I'm going to spark up a culture war that doesn't exist. And then now I can control the history. I can control the teaching. See, what Republicans did and what Democrats don't do is that when they lost the election, they lost everything, right? And government wise, they say, you know what? Well, fuck this. We're going to use the states. We're going because they already had their people in place. They put them in place. They plant a lot of this shit, Mitch McConnell and all them. And they like, you know what? We're gonna change some of these policies for our white people. We're gonna change what we're talking about in these schools. We don't want black people to be educated about their history. We don't want white people or other minorities to be educated about real American history. Everything that's white is right. And that's what's going on now. That's all you see. Anytime I hear these stupid people talk about critical race theory, I cringe. Because I just be like, just be honest and just tell us that you don't want to talk about slavery. You don't want to talk about the bad things that your ancestors did. It's all good to talk about all the good shit that they did, but you don't want to talk about how bad they were. It's almost like saying to me, what I hear is, I only want the law to abide by the law when it only affects me. I don't want to abide by the law only when it affects me. I want to break the law when it affects me. That's what I hear. But for others, yeah, you can go ahead and abide by the law. And you can even take it a little extreme. Go even farther. That's all I hear. Listen, the problem is that we got a lot of people stuck on stupid. We're amongst the weirdos. And I told y'all years ago about Trump being in office. He corrupted this country. And I'm telling y'all that he schemed the country. The country is fucked up. You can talk about inflations all you want. Just the mind and the thought process of a lot of American people is fucked up. And I'm just talking about off of principles and morals. He fucked this country up morally. You got stupid ass white people still out here thinking that you know what's crazy about this? Like when I was young and shit and Pac had passed away and shit like that, I was like, yeah, Pac might be still alive. It's like conspiracy theories. But you get older, you know this man, you ain't seen nothing. The internet is big, cameras everywhere. Somebody gonna notice this nigga. It's very hard to hide from Big Brother. It's cameras everywhere. Okay? Social media is big. I'm like, yo, Pac did. God rest his soul, he did. These people still think that Elvis is alive. These people still think Kennedy's still alive. All these people gonna come back. You got some of these people really think this dumbass, goofy shit. Conspiracy theories. And mind you, we're not talking about young folks. We're talking about grown ass people. Grown ass people in the late 30s and 40, late 30s and up. Think this. Motherfuckers told us that Trump was supposed to come back 4-5 times in the last year and a half, almost 2 years. Excuse me. Why he ain't back in office? And then a motherfucker tell you, you know what's so crazy about it? The conspiracy motherfucker tell you, hey, you can't believe everything that you hear from QAnon, but we still believe in it. Where the fuck they do that at? And I told you, they make money off of lying. Listen, they know shit is a lie, but they still lie about it. They still try to get people to believe in a lie. Tell you that you can't believe everything QAnon says, but what? If they lied, that means they're a fucking liar. Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, let's move on.
History of textbooks. Here's what's so offensively wrong about what Senator Scott said is in Atlanta, Georgia in 2012, the elementary school math book actually had a homework assignment that said Frederick gets 2 beatings a day. How many beatings does Frederick get after 1 week, after 2 weeks? Or in San Antonio, Texas, where the textbook assignment after the Prentice Hall textbook, I'm talking about 2018 here, after the Prentice Hall textbook talked about how some slaves probably were perfectly happy with slavery, had a homework assignment for the children.
Listen, even if you was a house slave, you were the reason listen, it's partly true and it's partly not, right? Because if you was a house slave, right, you was being mistreated, right? But you were treated way better than the field slaves, right? You probably be like, man, I'm getting way more treated better than those other niggas out there. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, a lot of them was probably brainwashed to thinking like, yeah, you know what? I'm good being a house slave. When you don't have any, when you are brain, excuse me, when you are brain, listen, a lot of slaves was brainwashed. Shit, a lot of us right now are brainwashed, right, by white supremacy, right? So just imagine back in those days as being a house nigga, right? You're sitting there and every day you're being taught. You don't know how to read. You don't know what's really going on. All you know is what they tell you that you need to do. And they treating you a little bit better because you're in the house. You got to get to sleep on the bed, maybe. Right? Excuse me. You get treated better. You get fed better. But you still get mistreated. And so a lot of those slaves that was house niggas, you would call, right? A lot of them was being raped as well, especially the women. Some of the men were still being raped. They were still being oppressed. But they was like, you know what? This can happen to me being out there with them. At least I ain't getting whipped. At least master still let me eat when, they got treated a little bit better than the field niggas. And that's just a fact. So of course they was comfortable with being slaves. You have that same mentality now with black people that's today. They're saying, you know what, at least you look at the Coons, they house niggas. You look at them, they like, man, well, at least I ain't out there selling drugs and getting pulled over by the police. Even if I get racially profiled, I'm all I gotta do is yes, sir, master. No, sir. Here you go. Everything you need to go. You can harass me and ask me all types of inappropriate racist and racial profile me all you want, but all I gotta do is say what master told me I got to say and do what you tell me to do. You got black people like that now. That's house niggas that will still continue to go out and sell us out. But they're just getting treated a little bit better than motherfuckers like me. Motherfuckers like y'all. So of course they was okay with being slaves. But at the end of the day, do you really think if you took a poll and said, do you like how you do get mistreated? I guarantee you a whole bunch of them house niggas will say, no, we want to be treated better than this. Of course they was okay with being, a lot of them was being okay with being mistreated, the house niggas. Of course they were. Shit, they done broke down a lot of the field niggas so much, they was like, yes, I'm okay being a slave. Some of them. Because you ain't giving them no choice. Like, can we use common sense here? You're not giving me a choice. I'm going to have to be a slave. No matter where I go, I'm going to be a slave. Nowhere ever I go, I run into a white person, they're going to treat me like a slave. It didn't matter back then, or what they enjoyed or what they accept or whatever. They had no choice. Stop telling us that, some slaves would have been okay with slavery. Or the dumb shit that Kanye West said, well, they just accepted it. Nigga, when you don't have listen, we got the same slave mentality now. Listen, let me just explain something to you. You got a family. You've been humiliated and embarrassed in front of them every day because they whipping you and they raping your wife and they raping your children and shit like that. All you got is to keep your family together. Every day they let you know, hey man, this will happen to you every day. Even if you ain't do nothing wrong, even if you do everything right, we ask you to do and tell you to do, we still gonna rape and beat you and your family whenever we want to. You have no power. So for Kanye West, remember when he came out with that statement of, oh, they was okay with being slick. Listen, man. Like I said, if you really want to know what slavery really feels like, go to jail. You really want to know. Go to jail. That's why I call jail the modern day slavery. That's why I call it that. It's nothing but slavery. Nothing but slavery. Some people deserve to be there, but a lot of people don't supposed to be there. They shouldn't be there. Not amongst those people. But people act like it's just the people that you in the celly and shit with. No, we talking about the correctional officers and all that shit. It's people get in jail, women are getting raped by correctional officers. Correctional officers are raping or even allowing inmates to get raped by other inmates. They're sitting there watching that shit, allowing it, doing it themselves. That's modern day slavery, people. So for Kanye West to sit out here and just imagine this was a world thing. This is what I mean. It's a country thing. It was a country thing. And so it wasn't like, oh, well, any country or any state you go to, oh, they ain't gonna have slavery. Bullshit. They mistreated black people all the time. It was normal. They normalized that shit. And Kanye West was like, oh, they had a choice. Nigga, okay. It was a few black people say, hey, no, fuck that shit. Harriet Tubman, Underground. Like, we had a couple of people, but it was very rare, those people. Wasn't a whole bunch. It was more slaves than people like Harriet Tubman. You got to be fucking kidding me out here, man. And that's why history is actually important for these children, black, white, whatever color skin you are. That's why history is important. Because if you don't understand that shit, you will never understand the modern day enslavement and discrimination that's going on right now in front of you. The children won't understand it. No matter what color skin they are, they won't understand it. They wouldn't know what to stand up for. Or they would think, well, you know, that's how it is. That's who them niggas is, them black niggas is. That's how white kids will start thinking. And you seeing it. They accepting it. Because they ain't been taught. They ain't teaching these kids the real history of America. That America was stolen from the Native Americans. You got to be deep about that. You got to tell these kids that, hey, my ancestors didn't really own this shit. We stole it. So you know why? So these kids won't be stealing other shit, stealing other people's culture. They just want to be a part of it and learn about it instead of saying, you know, we're going to take their culture and do whatever the fuck we want to do with it. That's why they need to know American history. That's why. America was no such thing when they stole this country. It didn't even exist. It didn't have a name. It damn sure wasn't America. But if you don't tell these children that, then how the fuck do they supposed to know about the history? How do they know to not repeat this shit over and over again, which is happening now? They're repeating the same shit. But we're in a better place now. We all won. No, we ain't. And I'm going to tell all the white children, Kenny Luddy kids, please do not go down this rabbit hole of racism because you will have a rude awakening. Do not listen to the racist ass parents. Please don't. Anyway, let's move on. Listen, it won't be good. I'm just gonna tell you that now. We ain't our ancestors. Just like we don't accuse you of being your ancestors. Don't assume that we our ancestors. We won't tolerate that shit of what our ancestors went through. Believe me. It's a couple of Negroes. You see them, they got you, they okay with let you call them niggas. Okay. You don't want a race war. And that goes for white people. You don't really want that. You don't want a race war. I'm telling you, you don't.
That said, please share the positives and the negatives of slavery. The positives of slavery, really? And the Southern Poverty Law Center actually had a study recently that showed that only 8% of high school seniors understood slavery to be a major cause of the Civil War. Now, I ask you, how do we have a rational democratic debate about voting rights in a country that hasn't been able to confront the fact, not just that we have historically refused to teach our history, because that's the reality. This isn't about calling anyone an oppressor. This is about understanding who we are, how we got here, and what problems we are still trying to solve. That's not a blame game. That's about problem solving. That's what democracy is for. And what Tim Scott is participating in is a willful political strategy.
And listen, and think about this too as well, right? You got to think about, people that we sometimes talking about calling white kids oppressors. Listen, you only can teach that. It's only learned. It's not you're not born with that. And just because of the color of your skin doesn't make you an oppressor. It's the behavior. It's what you've been taught. It's what you say out your fucking mouth to oppress people. Like, what are we talking about here? Nobody, and then the crazy thing about it, nobody's teaching white kids, that they should feel guilty for being oppressors. I would never tell a white kid that. How the fuck do I would tell a fucking 6 or 7-year-old kid that, hey, you're an oppressor because of what their ancestors did? That's just like a white kid telling another black kid, you a thug because I seen black thugs. You a slave because your black people were slaves. Think about that. It doesn't make any sense. It's like telling a black kid, you can't be friends with a white person because they are oppressors. They are oppressors. They was born up to be racist. Who is telling black kids that? Listen, I don't know no black kids saying that shit. You hear them, the white man, but you don't hear them saying white kids, the white kids. Listen, they fucked up because what was happening, as much as we didn't like we had to understand that white kids is growing up in black culture as far as like hip hop and shit like that. We just wanted white kids to respect the culture. That's it. It's not all about being a tough guy. Like, that ain't not all what we're about. Sit down with some very intelligent black brothers and sisters that's about some shit that want to help people. You sit down with them. Everybody ain't got to be a motherfucking gangster. Everybody ain't gangsters in the black community. No, everybody ain't gangsters. I don't give a fuck if even they come from gang neighborhoods. Everybody ain't a motherfucking gangster, nigga. My grandmother ain't never been in no gang, but she lived in the hood. She ain't never been part of no street shit, but she lived in the hood. Where I was out there being a street nigga, and so on, her kids and her grandkids. But my grandmother never was like that. So what the fuck are we talking about here? So you see my grandma, you think, oh, she used to be hood. No. That's like telling a drug addict that they hood. They part of the streets. Listen, my mom ain't never sold a goddamn drug a day in her life. She never been a drug dealer. She got high on that shit. But she never was no drug dealer. She went out gang banging in the streets. Now, on real talk, I can't speak for my dad. That's different. I gotta ask my dad that. I don't think I ever asked my dad that. All I know from my dad that he was, he did a lot of shit, and and back in his day it was different too. So he did a lot of, street shit, hung around a lot of street dudes and stuff like that. But I don't think my dad ever was really in them streets like selling dope and shit like that. I don't think he did that. And I don't know that for sure. I have to ask him. I never asked my dad that. You know what I mean? Because I just went off with like, everybody know who my dad was. Everybody knew my dad got busy. Right? You know what I'm saying? He got his ass whipped. I mean, everybody get their ass whipped in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers can pretend that they don't, but they do. Everybody get their ass whipped. You know what I'm saying? But, them days was a little different too. So, but especially when my dad was growing up and shit, like, the drugs didn't really truly affect the community like that. It was coming, but it wasn't affecting it like that when my dad was growing up. So it's different. I'm not saying drugs wasn't there. I'm just saying that, the epidemic of it wasn't. It was coming, but it wasn't there yet. Everybody in the hood, everybody that live in the hood ain't street people, ain't thugs and shit. So it's a stereotype shit. That's what I'm saying. We got to teach these kids they're not talking about these stereotypes. Start stereotyping one another. And I don't know any kids that's out here calling white kids oppressors. That's not what racist. Like, that's if they doing some racist shit, that's different. But like, nobody's doing, no black kids are doing shit like that.
To engender fear in white people and to play on it, rather than suggesting that there's a path to democracy, for a plural democracy, for all of us, no matter who we love, how we worship, what we look like, or who we're descended from. And that's the democracy we need to be building together.
Now that's a fantasy. Not even say a fantasy. That's what America, a lot of people in America want shit to be. Right? But if you don't know who you are, don't know, that's a fantasy. Because see, like in America, see, you can go to like Korea or Asia or China or Syria or even Russia, you know what I mean, or Germany or whatever. It's you could do that in a democracy. That's like as a democracy. That's why America is kind of special in this way, because we have everybody. Like, we have all types of different races. But some of these countries, they don't have that. So they don't have to worry about fuck a democracy, nigga. We all live under one thing, I say. And that's all we're gonna be. Chinese. You get what I'm saying? They got one agenda. I mean, you might have some motherfuckers be like, no, we want to do some things different, but it's usually talked about because they all the same people. They can compromise a little bit. That's what, believe it or not, that's what does make America great in a way, right? Because we have different cultures of people. That's what make us special. I ain't gonna say great, but that's what make us special. You go to some of these other countries, you had no fucking choice. Everybody live under the same rule, even if people don't agree with it. But that mainly becomes because a lot of times of what they see in our country. So a lot of times they see they see the shit that we, they see the shit that we doing and shit like that. They are like, damn, why we can't have a little bit of freedom like that? Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be like, this shit ain't fun. Like, that's why you see a lot of that shit. That's why you see a lot of immigrants and a lot of people running to America, because You got multicultural people together. It ain't like you don't see a lot of the hate shit that goes on, but it is there. It is systemic, but you see it, it's like a portfolio. The portfolio is like the photo op. You see black, white, everybody together having fun. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what America like to pursue and put out. But at the end of the day, it's not really like that when it comes to people that look like me here and other minorities. You know how many countries where they got a hot gay people, they can't be openly gay? It's to this day. Nigga, they still hiding that they gay. Can't be flamboyant if you all on social media with that shit. But America is a little different. But that's what makes the country great. I mean, not great, but special. Because we can have that. We can allow gay people to be openly gay and, express themselves. And the problem is we got a lot of people in this country. That's why I'm embarrassed by America, because we are like the people that they want to kind of be like us. Right? And we're going backwards. Like, we don't have to like everything, but we got to allow people, if it's not, what is hurting you? That'll be my whole point to people about some of these dumbass culture wars. How is that hurting you? And I always tell people, the weird shit about it is that when people be sending their kids to all these private schools and shit, right? Like, you're paying for that private school, but you're still paying for the public schools. That's the weird shit. Instead of you saying, you know what, I'm gonna help you. Listen, we gotta raise more money for these public schools to get these schools right. They start privatizing schools, and that's what's fucking shit up. And allowing private schools to come in, especially a lot of these religious schools. If you're gonna create them religious schools, that's on you. You don't even pay taxes anyway. A lot of these religious, a lot of religious people, they got power too. I keep telling y'all that. These are the same people that don't pay taxes, but they still get parts of money for their religion. And it's supposed to be the difference between a state and church. Listen, if you create a motherfucking religious school, you pay for that shit yourself. That's your choice to do that. But your money that goes to private schools, you want to take that as well. Like, nah, bro. No, you don't get to take our money with your private school, because everybody can't get in that private school. It's one thing if my kid can get in there at free, you're charging people. So I'm trying to figure out how the fuck do religious schools actually charge people to go to their school? How did that happen? Any private school, you should never receive any money from the state or the federal government. That money should come straight from you. And if you think I'm lying, people, listen, do your research. Any of these private schools you send your kids, you're paying extra to go to this school for better education. Why? When these same educators, these same people could be uplifting the public schools. The difference is they want to teach a different agenda. They making your kid pay. You're making you pay for your kid to pay for not just a better education, but for an agenda. That's all that is. The fuck out of here. And then they use our money, state money, federal money, for their private schools. These Christian private schools. Hey, you bitches don't pay taxes. Use that money. Use that money. So yeah, I want the religious people. I want you to get mad at me for saying what I'm saying. You know I'm telling the truth. Because if people really do their research and Google you motherfuckers, you're actually taking advantage of the people. Like I said that you were. We paying double. We already pay. If you work a 9 to 5, taxes come out, you paying for public schools. And then if you want to go to the religious school, the private school that's taking money from you anyway, then they asking you to pay for your kid to go there. Think about that. It's a scheme. I will never send my kid to a fucking private school. I thought, I ain't gonna say I thought. I made a mistake. I think I said one time my daughter was going to a private school. She don't go to no fucking private school, nigga. She go to a public school. It's just a good public school in a decent area. That's what she go to, where I pay taxes at. That's all. And for her, having her disability and shit. Other than that, my daughter go to a goddamn public school, nigga. I had to correct myself. I ain't paying for no motherfucking private school, nigga. Fuck, I'm paying my kid to go to private school for. You can't use my money that I already pay for you to even be open. And then you charge me even extra to go to the school? Really? Yeah, okay. That's why I tell y'all need to educate yourself and research. I'm telling y'all, education go you a long way, because it'll have you thinking about some shit that doesn't make any sense. It'll tamper with your morals. It'll let you know, like, damn, morally, that shit don't even make any sense. I can't fuck with that. I'm trying to tell y'all, man.
Mm-hmm. And Sophia, as the former Republican here on the panel, what's up with your boy Tim Scott?
Well, one, he's not my boy, but two, listen, seriously, Jonathan, first of all, he's running for president. That's clear to me. The vote.
But he was, though. Because you're a former Republican. Yeah, he was. Tim Scott been around a long motherfucking time. I guarantee she had interactions with Tim Scott, blah, blah, blah. Defended Tim Scott. I guarantee you. I don't know this lady. I had never heard of her, but I'm just telling y'all. I guarantee you. Now he ain't your boy because he's siding with white supremacy, but he always did. See, that's the problem with some of these black Republicans. It was always there. You just chose to ignore it. Or you know it was there and you was too afraid to speak up. So either way, you pick your poison. It's all bullshit. Listen, I'm going to just explain something to y'all. I don't really trust black Republicans that ain't black Republicans no more. That ain't Republican no more. I don't trust these people. I truly don't. You don't change your ideology like that. It takes a little minute, people. And the reason I'm saying that, because it took me from a minute coming from a street dude, my ideology that I had, that I was doing this shit was right, and I was out here surviving, and all that shit that comes with that. It took a minute. You don't just have an epiphany and say, oh, you know what? I was actually hurting my community. I actually was doing wrong. That shit was wrong. You don't just having an epiphany like that. That doesn't happen. And even if you have an epiphany like that, it takes time. It takes work to change. You got to work on it. Now, to be fair, I do not know how long she haven't been a Republican. So I'm just going to put that out there. But I'm assuming it was just recently. I'm assuming that. That's just my opinion. But go ahead.
The vote that he took on historic Justice Ketanji Jackson was very disappointing to me, because as the only Black conservative Black Republican in the United States Senate, I mean, she was qualified. There's no argument about that. She's a historic first. When he didn't vote for her, that told me a lot. Now, this debate over critical race theory, look, I live in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and as everybody knows, our last election was decided.
Let's stop right there. Listen. It was shit about this sister rulings and certain things that she was a part of that I didn't like. Right? She wouldn't have been my candidate. She was just the best that they put there. Right? So, but at the same time, right? Was she qualified for the job? Yeah. Very qualified. Never second guess that. She was very qualified. Way qualified. Probably a little overqualified. Believe it or not. But that's just my opinion. But of course, there's things in this sister rulings and shit, people that she defended and shit like that bothered me. Yeah, it did. But that's the problem with a lot of this shit. When you in that realm of field, right? You just can't be on some pro-black shit. You just can't be on some I'm not gonna be just biased about some shit. You gotta you gotta know how to balance it, right? And listen, a lot of people in this country, can't speak for other countries, a lot of people in this country don't have balance, and that's what it is. Some shit is just right, and some shit is just wrong, right? But you gotta understand, with a lot of these judges and shit like that, they're going off of you. It's very rare that they just go off of the law, right? When the law is kind of biased by itself, right? But then you got a lot of judges and shit like that that are just biased anyway, because they most likely a conservative or a Democrat. So there's really no balance there. They don't know how to balance that shit. I'm a part of a party. This party donates to me. This party put me in office. This party voted me in office. It's weird shit. So you're never going to, it's like a jury. You're never going to get an unbiased jury. You're never going to get an unbiased judge. It's very rare. It's like it's the most rare shit that you will ever see, especially in law and in law enforcement. It's very rare. Shit, I told you I didn't ran into some good white cops that said, you know what? All right, I know you're a little intoxicated. Now driving this shit, ain't no business driving. Pull the car over, tell your wife come pick you up. Somebody come pick you up. All right. Found out where I was. But that was because of, you can say, my status. Or he maybe didn't want to do the paperwork today. You never know what the fuck it was. But to me, he was an understandable dude. He was like, man, I ain't got time to be writing this shit up. You ain't hurt nobody and shit like that. Because which I did, and I just was swerving. I could have. There was a possibility I could. How a little intoxicated I was driving. But he said, don't drive this car. Somebody come get you. And he heard the person on the phone. And then he had a real call. It was just a traffic stop. He just seen me swerving to a real car that some real shit happened. Said, fuck that shit. I'm going to go handle that. Don't get out that motherfucking car. Shout out to that police officer. I don't know who he is today, but shout out to him. Don't know if he was a racist or not. White cop. But he did me a favor. He helped me out that night. Don't know. But like I said, it's about judgment. A lot of the times, is it worth it to go far with certain things to hurt people or to criticize them or throw the law on them? Like, you get what I'm saying? It's a judgment, and everybody ain't good at reading people, and I keep telling you that, and that's the problem too. People don't know how to read people. You don't know situations, but that comes with experience. And you have to kind of still enjoy what you're doing. Like, I enjoy reading people. So, and it's mainly because to protect myself, but at the same time, I enjoy reading people because it helps my mental process. So, and was she qualified? Yes. Probably overqualified. But I didn't like all her fucking policies. But like she said, Tim Scott did that shit talking about they tried to use that they didn't like certain, and I heard black people talk about it. They'd be like, oh, well, she voted for this and voted for that, and I didn't like that because it wasn't all about black people. Like, dude, come on, man. You're doing the same shit that Republicans doing. Is she qualified or is she not? Like, if we're going to get deep down to it or just going to be on some bias shit, well, I ain't like these certain rulings. Shit, some judges going to make mistakes. They not going to be perfect. What judge going to be perfect? What judge going to be perfect? That's just anybody. We got this expectation and this bias that we all have. It's just ridiculous. And the crazy shit about it, a lot of people don't even have morals. And I'm gonna disagree with the brother Phil, right? Listen, she did this, she did that. Listen, bro, ain't nobody perfect. Ain't no judge perfect. I don't give a fuck how many black people you put there. What are you asking them to be biased? Like, that's my thing. I'm asking a lot of people, if we get black people in there, so they just gonna be biased. No, I want to put the person that makes more sense. And like I said, a lot of this shit comes, listen, that's why I don't have a lot of friends no more. A lot of shit comes with trust. But if somebody background teaches me certain things, if you made one mistake here and there, or 2, 3 mistakes, everybody make mistakes. But if you consistently made mistakes and consistently did wrong shit, then yeah, I judge you that way. But if you make 1 or 2 mistakes right then, yeah, I ain't like that shit. But what's all the good? I like like I said, if you're good outweigh your bad, I'm good with that. Because it's impossible to know if somebody's a good or a bad person sometimes. Oh, no matter how good of you are reading people, no matter how how much good that person that person make you feel that they good and they're around you and shit like that, you don't know. They can do all the good shit in the world to you and do one big horrible thing to you that cross that line to you, and you won't fuck with them no more. Real talk. Because now you question everything that they did. Even the good shit. You question the good shit. If this motherfucker was plotting on me, that's why I said you got to have a little faith. But you got to know how to balance that faith and balance of not like trusting people. Right? You got to know how to balance that shit. And everybody ain't good at doing that. It's a great line to a lot of this shit.
On this issue, Terry McAuliffe, the Democrat, blew it when he said parents didn't have a right to decide what their kids are taught in school. And Glenn Youngkin, the Republican, seized on that and talked about things like critical race theory, et cetera, et cetera. And so what my concern is, both Kimberly and Maya are right. I can't disagree with anything they've said. My concern is, however, is that a large portion of our nation, particularly here in the Commonwealth, as an example, these weren't right-wing Republicans that voted for Glenn Youngkin. These were moderate, white, independent women who voted for the governor of Virginia. Now that we have,
well, that still doesn't mean that they ain't a bunch of fucking racists. Just because, nigga, I don't like the Democrat or the Republican Party. I vote independent. What that mean? That mean I don't fuck with either party, right? But that doesn't mean I don't lean more left than right. Right? So I don't give a fuck what your title is of, oh, white women that was independent voted for a Republican. Nigga, it ain't nothing that I will never vote for a Republican. I ain't gonna say never. I can't say that. If a good Republican came out that I actually had, like, it made sense that this motherfucker really wanted to help people, I probably will rock with him. But like I said, I don't think that I would actually vote for a Republican because their ideology is all wrong to me. I'm sorry. And I'm gonna be very, very honest about this. Listen, I would rather vote for somebody that's a bad Democrat. And what I mean by bad is that I know they ain't gonna do shit, but they ain't gonna always insult me. Than to vote for a party that embrace racism. That is a no-no for me. I can't do it. But if I don't like either party, on policies, I didn't vote for Joe Biden because of his behavior. Because I knew he wasn't gonna come out and call me a nigga or be racist and shit like that. But he was, he had his tropes and shit that I didn't like. And this nigga was a real big part of that crime bill. But it wasn't, I can get over that, right? But I knew he wasn't gonna do shit. It wasn't no change coming. It was just getting back to normal. That's what he told us. That's what I heard. That's what he said. He said we was gonna get back to normal. We're gonna get back to how shit run. Well, that's not how it is. That's not what I want. Yeah, I want shit to get back to normal where we ain't disrespecting each other and shit like that, or we ain't allowing racists to run the country or run amok. But when it comes to policies, what are you going to do? He had no answer. Had no answer. So I didn't vote for him or Trump. I voted for Green. Nigga. You cannot just listen, just because you have a title. I said, listen, I always tell people will probably I would call myself, I would say this as a title. I'm independent, but I'm really not independent. I don't sway either side, right? I really swing left, right? Because of the inclusion of everybody. I feel comfortable when talking about comfortability of just being a human being. I can fuck with Democrats. I can't fuck with Republicans. I don't think I could be in that circle. That circle it's toxic. But when you get down, we talking about policies, neither one of them do anything for me. And the only reason I probably even lean left is because of Bernie Sanders in them. It's not because of Joe Biden.
We have, so let's disabuse ourselves of this notion that somehow this is some radical right-wing thing. It's not, folks. There's a large part of this nation that stays quiet and that buys into this type of stuff. And the reason there's ignorance about this is because we don't teach history accurately. We don't teach why critical race theory in its purest form, why it's a very important thing to teach about structures of racism that persist from the time this country was founded forward. That's
Listen,
where we are.
you want to be real, people want to be honest about this, we should be teaching critical race theory in schools. My honest opinion. Because the sister actually do have a point. If you don't explain this shit to the children at a younger age, they won't know nothing. It doesn't matter what color skin the kid is. It's just they need to know so they can do better. So they won't make the same mistakes that their parents or their ancestors made or their grandparents or whatever. You want kids to know. You want the kids to be better than you. But we got a lot of bigoted, racist people in the country. And I'm telling you that. Just look at what's going on. People, even the racists, a lot of the racist people you see in the Mitch McConnell, a lot of them, they was all pretending that they wasn't racist. But they say racist shit and everybody would just brush that shit to the side. Oh, because we got a black president. Then Mitch McConnell was like, oh, we voted in a black president. You ain't vote shit in. You voted against the black president. Like any of you stupid racist white people ever say, well, we had a black president, we voted a black president. Who's this we, bitch? You didn't vote him in. You was against him. You didn't vote for the first black president. It's a goddamn lie. We. What's this we shit? We ain't we. I can't even say we. I ain't vote for Brock, nigga. I ain't vote at all. So who the fuck of me to say this we? We voted the first black president. Nigga, I ain't a part of I didn't vote for that nigga. I didn't vote period. I didn't believe in voting when Barack was in office. Real talk. Because I was too ignorant to shit about voting. So I was I ain't say I was a street nigga, but I had a street mentality. I wasn't educated. I just say that. I wasn't educated enough about politics. Didn't give a fuck about it. Shit, when they voted, when Barack Obama got voted in, what I was about 24, 25. I was still ignorant as fuck. My brain was just fully trying to get a little development, and I still needed another 5 years for my brain to really comprehend shit. Vote for that nigga. So I can't even be a part of the we either. So who the fuck is these motherfuckers that actually did vote against him? Talking about, oh, we voted in the first black president. No, you didn't, bitch. If you didn't vote, you ain't vote shit. You ain't vote for him, you ain't vote him in. You had no part of that. If you ain't vote for him or you ain't vote at all, you didn't vote for him. Let's get that straight. So fuck Mitch McConnell and people that think like ain't nobody voted in the first black. If you ain't vote for him, you ain't vote him in as president. That's why a lot of people be saying that. I say that nigga ain't my president. I ain't vote for him, but he the president. He wasn't my president, but he the president. Because I didn't vote for that motherfucker. I didn't vote for Trump.
We are, and that's the problem.
Right, and just to be clear, critical race theory is taught in law school.
Absolutely. I took it in law schools. We all did. Yeah.
Oh, you all did. So you know that ain't nobody trying to teach that in elementary school or middle school or high school. And this is some complex stuff. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break, but before we go.
But first of all, well, they should. Because it's a better way to break it down to younger folks about racism. See, the problem is you don't even have to talk about critical race theory. in elementary, middle school, or high school. Just teach the kids about real racism. But you have to make them understand it. It's a way you have to do it, right? You can't give them all at once like they can truly understand and comprehend it. That's why it's not being taught in high school, middle school, elementary, because it's very complicated. Shit, it's complicated for me a lot of the times when I read up on critical race theory. Like, you get what I'm saying? So it's not no shit you could be teaching a kid that young about. That's why I know it ain't being taught. But slavery and shit like that, and how shit was and stuff like that, you get to the nitty gritty about it, especially when kids get a little older, especially when they get to high school. You can really start talking to them about the Civil War. You can really tell them that, yeah, slavery was a very, very big, actually, it was the main part. It was the main part because slaves was bringing in the economy was ran on slaves. Let's just be honest about that. You ain't got to pay slaves, nigga. That means all the white people get to keep all the money. You just break it down to be honest. You ain't paying no slave. You ain't. That's like you working at. Listen, think about this. Imagine people, no matter what skin you are. If I excuse me, if I own a business and I got about 100 workers that work for me, no matter what the business is, it's just I own the business and I don't pay you. Who keeps all the profit? Do you get some? It's a common sense question. It's not this big assuming type shit. No. If I own a business and I have 100 people working at my business and I don't pay them, where do the money goes? Do the people that work for me get any money? Or do the person that owned the business that brung people in to work for free? So when I tell y'all, they like to make this shit complicated about the Civil War. It's not. And I'm not saying black people at that time wasn't getting paid, but it wasn't like it was in the South. Slavery was still in existence. You couldn't make no money down in the South like that. Like if you worked for a slave owner, if you was a slave, you weren't making no money. You weren't progressing. You was working for free. You got to think about it. They still had plantations. It wasn't in the Constitution that we're going to abolish slavery. That was the main part about it. That means, like, just think about it now. If they didn't abolish slavery, right, which I still don't think they did, I'll call modern day slavery with the prisons. But, right, imagine if they didn't do it now. Anybody, like in modern day, if they didn't abolish slavery, right, the Civil War never happened, right? White people can just get together, get in a town, get a whole bunch of black people and enslave them. And it ain't nothing that anybody can do about it because it's legally. They can legally enslave you and your family and friends of yours that's black. And it ain't nothing, no outside entity can do anything about it. This is put it in modern day. That's what I'm trying to get people to understand here. Say one day you got a black community and white people come in, they got all the guns and they got everything to put the pressure on you and take over your whole community and say, all of y'all are slaves. You can't do shit. It's legal. Ain't nothing you can do. That's what slavery was. Okay? And just put it in the modern day time. You've been free for a little minute, but then all of a sudden they come and they just say, no, now you slaves. And we ain't paying you. You're just going to do what we tell you to do. And if you don't do it, we're going to kill you, or we're going to rape your family, or we're going to whip you. We're going to hang you. So people kept asking like, oh, is it, it's a lot more bigger than that financially. We know it was financially, but slavery was the big reason for the fucking Civil War. The financial shit was about slaves. Fuck you talking about? People for working for free. People, we almost fighting for the same thing now. When we talk about raising the minimum wage and shit like that for people and shit like that. It's the same shit kind of, because you get to take advantages and make us work in these despicable facilities and shit like that, but we ain't getting paid shit. We still working this 9 to 5, busting our ass, and we still and we actually working harder for a percentage that we that doesn't mean nothing, that's not actually helping us outside of this job. You working us to death in these situations, and then we go home and we get that check, and we still don't got nothing to show for it. We ain't upgrading. We just still stuck. We still right in that same position. We ain't living good. We still struggling. It's the same shit. It's the same shit. We gotta do better, man. I just want us to listen. It's not even just doing better. I just think that people are not educated. People are not understanding, and a lot of it comes from even if you do, like, I noticed this too. Even if you do come from some shit, people are still ignorant. You know how many ignorant ass black people it is that come from street shit that don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about? And I'm not trying to shit on them. They just don't know shit. They ain't been taught. It's not being taught in schools. It ain't no older people telling them and trying to educate them. They just don't fucking know. We're amongst the stupid. And people are taking advantage of that shit. I wouldn't even want to take advantage of somebody even if I knew that I could. Even if you was my worst enemy, I wouldn't do that. Especially if you was that stupid. But I would make sure, damn sure, that I won't allow you to have any power to spill your stupidity and your ignorant shit to hurt people. Of course I would stop that. But I wouldn't want to hurt you that much. Like, I wouldn't want to do the shit that I see that people do. It's sad we out here, we doing this shit to each other. And we not educated. We're still being taken advantage of. Even the dumbass, stupid ass Republicans, Trump supporters. Y'all being taken advantage of, and y'all don't even see it. You bitches ain't got no teeth, no dental plan, none of that shit. You pay, like, you sacrifice your own home. You think that shit is normal. It's not normal. Why is it that the rich man can go to the doctors? It don't matter what the bill is. He good. But you go to the doctors, you could lose everything. Shit, you can't pay your bill because you went to the goddamn doctor's office. You gotta skip out on one of your bills. Ask that white man, do he gotta do it? I mean, I'm not white man. Ask that rich person, do he have to do that? I know people, and I won't say their name. I know people, they're doing a little better now, but I know a family that lost every motherfucking thing off it because one of them got sick. And they was middle class. Nigga, they back down on my level. Because I don't consider myself middle class. I consider myself, I'm okay. I'm all right. The middle class to me don't even exist no more. Bush fucked that up. But listen, lost everything because one of them got sick. Shit, listen, on real talk, fuck it, this is my people. My dad did. My dad lost everything. Well, I can say everything, but all the shit he saved, all the shit he had, had that. I mean, he back good now, but he had to start all over. He lost everything because at the time his wife, what it was, she had a brain tumor. He lost all that shit. He got into debt and shit like that. Lost the home, lost cars, all that shit. See, I know people that went through this shit. So it's not like I'm talking about some shit I don't know nothing about. So when I tell you that shit is unfair, that shit is unfair. Nobody should be able to lose their own fucking house over no motherfucking health issue to save somebody's life. And God bless my ex-stepmother, her life. I'm glad she's still here. He had to sacrifice everything. Even her shit. Like she wasn't not wealthy or no shit like that, but he did that. He went out his way to do that. They drained both of their accounts. Nigga, it was a wrap. And he had health insurance. And people were like, oh, I guess he had no health insurance. Yeah, he did. Nigga. Come on, man. Rehabilitation and surgery costing $100,000. Like, yo, come on, bro. My dad wasn't worth all that. That's why he went in debt at that period of time. Listen, people, it's not fair, man. Nobody asks a rich person, did they lose everything because one of their kids had, or one of their family members got diagnosed with something that don't even come up because they can afford it. They usually, listen, when you see somebody lose all their money and they rich or they fucked up, it's because they out there buying materialistic bullshit. That's just a fact. That's a different from somebody like us. We don't got shit or we'll lose everything. A lot of the times, some of us do want to keep up with the Joneses. It's a percentage. I say it's about a 20% of us that does that goofy shit. Want to keep up with the Joneses, spend all your money on bullshit. Let me explain something to you. Listen, and I say this on real shit because I did this shit. It was recently, about a couple of years, maybe a couple of years ago. And I was on that, like, I ain't gonna say I was on that bullshit, but I had to realize that I was doing fuck shit. That's why I'm not materialistic anymore. That's why I don't give a fuck about a lot of that shit. That's why I only rock people I fuck with merchandise. Okay? Listen. a while ago before I paid my car off, right? True story. I think for 2 years, I was out here trying to ball. Right? It's about a couple of years ago. Right? I try and ball. Trying to live up to the Joneses and that materialistic bullshit. Right? One day, I ain't pay my car for a couple of months. Just thinking everything good, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm out here trying to live, trying to ball, trying to shine, keep up with the Joneses. That motherfucker got repossessed twice. Mother-in-law had to step in. Help me out. I'm fucking up. That's why I tell y'all, I don't live like everybody live. This is a couple of years ago. I can't pinpoint when it was, but it was a couple of years ago. What year was that? I can't pinpoint that. But it was a couple of years ago. A little over 5 years. No, shit. No. It was about 5 years ago when I did that shit. It's about 5 years ago when I did that. I did that shit for like 2 years straight. And all that playing around with my motherfucking, car insurance and shit. I mean, not car insurance. My paying my car note. Playing around. Motherfucker towed my car. Playing around because I'm trying to live up with the Jones. Everybody had this shit. I'm out there splurging and all that other goofy shit that I was doing. Overspending. Not living in my means. Nigga, I say no more. Man, mind you, I need my car because I need to work. You know what I mean? Even though my wife got her car, but still, I need my own motherfucking car. That's my own personal shit. Well, not personal, it's our car, but I drive that car. My wife doesn't drive that fucking car. But but it's just the point that you're not paying bills. You're not paying your fucking bills because you're trying to live outside your means. Trying to live up to what everybody else do. Nigga, I don't give a fuck what nobody say, nigga. Whatever the fuck you can do. Listen, I had to learn this. I'd rather pay all my motherfucking bills and be left with $10. All my lights, all my bills, everybody car paid for. Okay, all right, baby. Baby, she can get some pictures and whatever for school, lunch, whatever. As long as all that shit is straight, I'm okay with $10. I'm okay with not having nothing. Because, like I said, my shit is taken care of. But at the same time, if I manage my money right and I do shit like I supposed to, I don't have to end up with $10. I can splurge and drop money, do money, spend money wherever the fuck I want to spend it when I want to act a fool. But I don't go overboard with it. We got to do better, people. That's all I'm saying. Got to be frugal out this bitch. We'll be right back, people. We'll go to a quick commercial break.
Hey guys, it's Shay, member of O.B.F. the squad. I've been kicking it out here for over 6 years, which means I'm not new to this shit. I'm straight up true to it. I believe in the intent, the mission of this channel, which is to uplift, to inspire, and to educate. Here at O.B.F., we talk about everything. We cover the latest and greatest. You're going to get our opinions. We definitely cover the facts. You're going to get it 100% raw, uncut, and straight up real. So come on over to O.B.F. and come kick it with your girl. Holla!
I said, hey, yo, it's your boy Weezy, straight out there, L. Opinion but facts. Hottest show on the internet. We talk about everything from religion, politics, race. It doesn't matter. We're not running for any topic. So if you want to be in the building, come and join the discussion. Shout out to my boy Kenny from starting this platform. And I'm thankful just to be a part of it. So when you come in the building, keep it funky like gym shoes. So we keeps it popping like Orville Redenbach. How about that? And those are the facts. One time.
This your man LT, member of O.B.F. The Real. Subscribe to the channel where we talk about sports, politics, issues, race, whatever you like positive. Subscribe to my brother Kenny channel, Opinion But Facts, where you keep it real. O.B.F. for life.
All right, people, we back from commercial break. We're gonna get up out of here, man. Appreciate everybody rocking with me. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We highly appreciate it. Make sure you guys subscribe to Mr. O.B.F. and make sure you guys subscribe to O.B.F. the Family channel. We do good content over there as well. I got the family. We coming with some shit. Right now we just, I ain't gonna say we in limbo, but we just kind of trying to figure out what everybody doing right now. So we'll get back up to it. Y'all gonna see a lot of content over there. Make sure you guys, if you can, donate to the Cash App. Go to O.B.F. The Real. We highly appreciate anything you can donate to the channel. Make sure you guys go to my man, my brother, Talking and Grubbing channel. He do very good content over there, sports content. And pick up some of that merch and donate to his channel as well, people. It's all family. It's all O.B.F. family. So make sure you guys do that. We highly appreciate it. Leave your comments, hit that like button, support your boy. It's your boy, Mr. O.B.F.
Hey, it's Shay. I've been deemed the mother of O.B.F., which means I care for this channel. I care for each and every member of this channel. I've been kicking it with O.B.F. for more than 6 years, which means I'm not new to this shit. I'm true to it. I believe in the intent of this channel. I believe in the mission, which is to inform, to educate, to notify, and to discuss. Here, we talk about everything, the latest and the greatest. You're going to get our opinions. You're going to get the facts raw and uncut, straight up real, 100%. Besides doing that, I think we've created something that haven't been done yet on this YouTube platform. We've created a squad that not anybody could be a member of. You have to be real. You have to be inspirational. You have to be positive. And most of all, you have to be consistent. You probably see on the show, we fight. We fight for our opinions. We fight for what we believe in. We fight, yes, as a family. But behind the scenes, we love even harder. Here at O.B.F. the Squad, we are not kinfolk. We are straight up family. And I'm proud to be a member. Shay out. O.B.F. for life.